Did you listen to the leaks for this album? Like this album in particular?
No, I think for we're talking Brat different now, right?
Yeah, the remix album. There are like
Yes,
some
yes.
leaks that came out.
Yeah, I know that I think the whole thing leaked, right?
Barely, like 12 hours before.
Right, yeah, yeah.
But like there were like songs that were not on the album that actually like were got leaked. And like you guys hear about those at all?
No, I don't know about this actually.
Okay, because like they're like this is such a moment. It was very popular. Artists of all stars and stripes like really came together. They really wanted a spot on the album, and like some artists it just didn't happen with. And one of the artists was Bruce Springsteen.
No.
So yeah. Bruce Springsteen did a version of this.
This is the earliest you've ever done this, Andrew.
What are you talking about? I'm just like sharing the truth.
Okay, you're fucking with us.
No. Here, I'll play it. Here, let's listen to it.
Bruce, like Bruce Pop, Bruce.
It's crazy because it's not even on the album.
Yeah, it's weird.
Bruce.
So Mean Girls with Julian Casablancas made the cut, but this didn't.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, Bruce.
It's good.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Pop, Bruce.
Well, it's almost over.
Like Bruce Steen.
Oh,
Bruce Steen.
Brats like us, baby, we were born to run.
I like the Bruce Steen.
Yeah. So,
That was beautiful. I'm really sad that one didn't make the cut.
yeah, me too.
I'm actually so angry right now.
Why is it Bruce on Hello Bruce Bye?
He was also like he also did a cover of Guess also like he was on that.
Yeah, it's same lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna guess the color of my
Hey,
underwear?
Springsteen, are you there?
Hey, Brucey, are you there?
Hey, Brucey, are you there?
Now I'm on the news with the Springsteen stare.
Well, on that note, let's start the episode. Click.
Gonna go Springsteen breakers.
Oh God.
That's good. No, that's good. Yeah.
Remember that record that you bought me like 2 years ago? Well, I just remembered that it's sitting in the closet. So I called you up just to tell you I've been meaning to listen to that. I've been meaning to listen to that. Why don't you come over and talk about it? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Why don't you come over and talk about it?
But hi everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to I've been meaning to listen to that, the podcast.
Oh no, it would be
What?
gonna Springsteen breakers. That's the same amount of syllables. There we go.
I don't think you needed to interrupt what Andrew was saying to
Yes, I did.
to come out with that one.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
to fix it. It didn't
yeah.
work the way I did it before.
But hi everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to I've been meaning to listen to that, the podcast where we go through albums we've been meaning to listen to and use that as a conduit to learn about each other and our guests. I'm Andrew Ambrose Lee.
I'm Michael Limentato.
Yeah, you might know this guy from Sputnik Music. You also might know him as the guy who comments, "Thank you, Charlie," under most of Charli XCX's posts. Please welcome Dakota Foss.
Yay!
Hi, Dakota.
Hello.
How are you doing?
We're doing pretty good. It's been a quality
Venom.
weekend. What?
Okay, Venom.
What does Venom say that?
No,
We
you're
are doing
using
pretty
weird.
good.
Oh, wait,
Andrew's the pronoun police.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, we are doing pretty good. Me and my symbiote. It's been a quality weekend of playoff football. Baltimore Ravens crushed the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. The Packers lost today. It's been a good day. I revisited this very album for this shindig, and
That'll make for a good day.
I beat COVID too for the
Wow.
third time.
You're a survivor.
Yeah, I need my punch card.
I
At
have.
this point.
Did you know I've gotten it tested? I've never tested positive for it. Knock on wood.
This most recent time, my girlfriend tested positive for COVID, and I tested myself twice, and both times were negative. But I just find that impossible that I did not get it because I didn't get it, and I just happened to, a little bit of serendipity, get a really bad flu, or I just got COVID.
I mean, everyone's getting sick right now. Not to date this, but like, what's that? It's not RSV, but everyone's getting like something that like is like a 2-day really terrible flu.
Yeah, I don't know. Could have been that. Could have been bird flu. Could have been swine flu. Could have been Ebola. We're playing all the hits.
Honestly, swine flu. Get Lady Gaga some promo. Yeah.
Bring back the meat dress.
Swine flu summer? Is that the new 2025? That's going to be the thing.
It might be. This is how LG7 will go number 1.
Disease. We need a new disease to promote her album.
That's right. Yeah.
You know how she announced that Die With A Smile is going to be on the album? Someone tweeted that like picture of the sexy lady breaking her chains, and it's like Lady Gaga 28 million streams, negative day, like 150.
But hi, Dakota. Thank you so much for doing this. I know you to be a super Charli fan. This is very exciting. What's your relationship to Charli XCX?
During like her initial run of songs, I think like many millennials, I discovered Charli XCX from the episode of Girls, wherein Hannah and her friends go out clubbing and the hit Iconopop song "I Love It" plays. That was the first time I heard that, and I attributed that song's success mistakenly to Iconopop when I should have been paying attention to that little FT at the end of the title that said Charli XCX.
What did you just call me?
Look, all right. I don't know what to say to that. I'm moving on. But yeah, after that, I heard a couple of her other songs kind of rolling out, Boom Clap, whatnot. I didn't really think anything of her that much. She kind of faded in the background despite me being like kind of a poptimist. And it wasn't until the summer of 2017 that I saw on a staff list actually for Sputnik Music where somebody gave a shout out to I Love You Too off of Number One Angel from Charli, and they were like, yo, you got to check this out. And I was like, maybe I will. And that song fucking rocks. And Number One Angel fucking rocks. And ever since Number One Angel, I kind of was like seeing that Charli was kind of similar to Carly Rae Jepsen, where people were like, this Boom Clap girl, she's actually like building up quite a war chest of dope pop songs. So I was super on board with the canceled XCX world, hard rippers to Charli's Google Drive.
That is an incredible album. That's like a lot of what I've been listening to lately.
It's fucking awesome.
There's a great song from that called Make You Mine. It's like, that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna make you mine. Gonna whip this shit from side to side. And I just am like, well, release this. Let me hear it.
Same thing with Taxi, man. Like Taxi, I there's this clip that lives rent free in my head of near the beginning of COVID. Charli participated, I think 100 Gex did as well, in some Roblox like concert or whatever. And Charli like clearly like is barely holding on with being able to comprehend like Roblox like happening in front of her. And she's like, I guess I'll play that. Like, there's this clip of all these Roblox characters jumping up and down, and Charli's just in her mic, and she's just like, I guess I'll play this next one. And like, Taxi starts playing, and like, there's just like 10 Roblox dudes like jumping up and down. But yeah, I was super on board for XCX World. That was canceled, and when Pop 2 dropped, that was like the first time when I was like, I guess since Pop 2 dropped, I was like rooting for this woman to like drop like an album that recognizes her as like the top of the pop hierarchy, like she did it with Pop 2, she did it with Charli, she did it in a way with How I'm Feeling Now. Didn't really do it with Crash, but Crash is still a great album, and that's kind of what led us to here. And it was awesome to see her finally get her flowers, and like I felt like I won too. As someone who considers himself a tastemaker, I was like, yeah, you know what? We fucking called this one.
Oh yeah.
That was my relationship with her.
No.
And I also comment, "Thank you, Charlie," on all of her pictures.
They're good pictures. But yeah, like I think w- now that like she's kind of on the other side of it and is like kind of known on a mainstream level, do you still like feel that like, oh man, I miss when it was just like kind of our little thing, or are you just like really happy that she's like like she got what she wanted basically?
That's a good question, honestly. Like, I think
Thank
I think that the Charlie fan base right now, you can definitely divide it into two groups. Like, there's the Angels who have like been there forever, you know? Like, that's what Charlie has like always called her fan base. And then there's definitely like the Brats, you know? Like the Brats have definitely like, I don't know how long they're gonna stick around. Like they're definitely on board for Brat. And I think like the like Brat section of the fan base is a little more like stan culture, you know, with like all of like the Twitter-ness of it all and bringing in like the monthly listeners and all that bullshit that like I just do not care about. But I think for the most part, like I've like in my own approach to like a lot of media, like I'm just past like the gatekeeping part of it. And so I'm just like super happy that it's like something arose in the mainstream to have such an explosive moment that basically held an entire year captive that is as cool as Brat. Because, you know, 2024 was a game of inches in a lot of ways. You know, we had assassination attempts that could have had things go a completely different way. And in a similar way to that, we were inches away from people bumping Tortured Poets Department like all the time. You know, like that could have been the conversation piece.
Should I say my catchphrase now?
Yeah, yes, please.
Should I kill myself?
Yes. I mean,
This is the pop side of the show. You're allowed. This is the safe space for that. Basically,
What, to say that?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, totally. I was thinking about that actually just a little bit earlier, how like this album has aged well. I mean, aged being like 6 months, but like still not as like a not new album that I'm not like listening to every single day. I'm having an amazing time re-listening to everything, right? And it's like, did I listen to Taylor's album longer than 2 songs and then decide that my personality is hating it? No, I did not. Will I be returning to it? No, I will not.
Yeah, like I'm not like hearing like for as like, you know, we hear all about like Taylor blocking all these albums and stuff, blocking this album, all like with her like, you know, variants and whatnot. Like I don't hear. Maybe it's just like my side of the internet. Obviously, there is a Taylor side of the internet, which is like rabid and ravenous, but I don't really hear people talk about Fortnite. You know, I don't hear like, oh, you got to admit Fortnite, pretty great song. You know, like not. I don't really hear it on my end.
Speaking of Fortnite, do you remember when Lady Gaga tweeted, "What is Fortnite?" and then the next day announced that she was going to be in Fortnite?
That was pretty iconic.
Really enjoyed that.
No, but that is like, honestly though, that is something that has like lived in my mind a lot this last year. In terms of just like how fake how fake and meaningless the streaming era is for numbers. Like Fortnite was a #1 song for like a minute, right? Like multiple weeks. And I have never heard Fortnite a single time in stores, like in CVS, in any store.
Ad,
I've never heard anybody hum it. I've never heard anybody talk about it. Even in regards to like the Tortured Poets Department, like people signpost different songs, you know, like "But Daddy, I Love Him," or maybe I don't know, "Down Bad." I would have to look at the track list, but I don't want to do that.
Oh, here it is. I'm scrolling. Oh, there it is. Fortnite. I see it.
Yeah, I mean, Fortnite is the first track of the album, but
I was going from the bottom.
Yeah, right. You were going in order released reverse.
Yeah, yes.
But
Very common issue for all of us.
Yeah, but like, yeah. So I feel like we came somewhat dangerously close to that being sort of the gravitational center.
I'm having a tortured summer.
Yeah, like I'm having a tortured summer. Like I don't know. We're going through what were people calling it? The like dark academia, like that was like a movement, right? Am I making that up?
Yeah, no, you're not making it up. I just hate it so bad.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
that,
okay.
That face is in reaction to what you're saying, not
Okay,
to you.
I needed a little validation there that I wasn't insane,
Yes,
that I wasn't
queen.
tortured. You know, like I was feeling like I was in the asylum where they raised Taylor for a second. But
You're on mute to go ugh into the mic. There we go.
all that to say is like there was like there were plenty of realities that played out where this album did not blow up the way that it did or last as long as it did, and I'm not trying to gatekeep that. I'm really glad that a lot of people recognize this as like the special moment that it is and was, and I think that it's really cool that in like a year full of fantastic pop, you know, like Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Roan, like take your pick. Like we're in a great moment right now, and I'm really glad that there's not really an asterisk next to Brat. That's like, you know, oh, Brat was released in like a year that like pop was really down or anything. Like no, there was stiff competition, and even still, like I think that Brat comfortably sits on top, and I'm glad that everybody recognizes that.
Yeah. What about this album? Like, what about Brat the remix? Brat and its completely. What's it called? Like Brat and it's completely different, but also still Brat.
Are you trying to read it backwards right now? Is that what was going
yeah. Tarb?
Tarb? Yeah. What did you just call me?
STI.
So because she had released so many of those remixes already as like singles, and it was rumored that this was coming out, I got like myself a little like too hyped for it. I also think I like started to like fan cast songs a little too much in my head. Like I could have sworn that Chappell Roan was going to be on Apple. Like if you had like put a gun to my head, I would have been like, I promise it'll be Chappell Roan. Like, but it wasn't, which I'm kind of glad for. But that's okay. I think actually it should have been Timothy Chalamet since he could be a musical guest on SNL. So why not? Let him be on this. But like I just knew it was coming out, so I was like fan casting it a lot in my head, and then it actually came out, and I was really happy to get this in. That it's not like it's a total new version of the album. It's not like I saw someone on Twitter, I saw a tweet, but like the like fan wars of like, oh, look who's giving a re-release. Oh, la, la, la. Like, look who's doing a re-release to boost their numbers. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is a new album. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, I added a little song or a voice memo of me saying lyrics out loud. Like, no, this is a new album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. The only song that I feel like is kind of commissioned is Club Classics. That's the one song that feels like she didn't really have as much of a hand in creating, you know. But
and it shows.
But you
otherwise,
guys don't like Club Classics?
The remix.
You guys don't like the Club Classics remix
with BB Tricks.
I think the BB Tricks
like that.
I think
like
the BB
Doo-doo Tricks.
You're calling her Doo-doo Tricks? My man is out here saying Doo-doo Tricks in 2025.
Yep. More like Doo-doo Tracks. There we go.
Oh, all right. I'm not letting you go there. You should have had that the first time. If you're just going to come out swinging with Doo-doo Tricks, then you better have Doo-doo Tracks in the chamber.
And I do.
I like the BB Tricks. I do like the BB Tricks feature, though. I think it's good. But yeah, like, sorry. What were we even talking about? I got so like sidetracked with Doo-doo Tracks.
We were talking about how this is like all Charli's hand on it. You said this was commissioned. It feels commissioned.
Yeah, that's the only song that feels like. But she's like, she has a hand in all the songs. It's like she wrote new lyrics for a lot of these songs.
Every song.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Dakota? What was your like anticipation and like kind of like around this album?
Yeah, I think the rollout to this album, like this album was such a poorly kept secret, really, like from the get go. Because even before Brat came out, I think we had already had the 360 remix. We had the Girl So no, we didn't have Girl So Confusing. We had
360. Oh, wait,
Yes, we did.
it was like right after Brat came out.
it was right after Brat came out that dropped. We had three, but before Brat came out, I think we had the 360 remix and we had the Von Dutch remix, and we might have had that might actually be it.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the Lord remix came out like really shortly after the actual album. So I kind of knew that this album was coming, and I guess I just kind of like put it in the back of my mind. Like Charli is firmly in the let her cook territory for me. So I oddly like didn't let myself get like that hyped up for this. Like even though, you know, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking it out when it drops, but I didn't feel the need to like, I don't know, pull out my like microscope and be like following this day by day. It's just like, yeah, Brat was fantastic. Whatever she does after this is going to be fantastic too. And so I didn't check out the leaks, but I did check out the like live stream that she did on release day. Did you guys check that out at all?
A little.
It really wasn't worth like turning in that much or tuning in that much. Like she just like played it in a field in like the middle of nowhere, but like not even the entire album. She played like
little snippets, basically.
No, she played like 5 new songs off the album, but then she was like, "All right, I gotta get back to my tour," and it's like, "Oh, okay, you couldn't stay for like 20 more minutes. Like, what are we doing here?"
Was Julia Fox there also?
Certainly.
No, like nobody was there. It was just Charli.
Wow.
Maybe A.G. Cook was there too. Like even Troy, who's on the album and on the tour, he wasn't even there.
Well, was Charli jumping?
Yes.
Okay, then AG must have been there.
Okay, all right. I give a doo-doo track to that one.
Five big unbooms to that.
Yeah, fucking yeah, doo-doo. Yeah. I think this album though, this album sits in like a unique spot, I think. I want to preface this by saying this album is fantastic. Like it's not better than Brat. But I think that this album is like an interesting sequel to Brat and an interesting clarification of Brat, and almost like also like a inversion of Brat. So even though like I think that like the original Brat is like the best thing, this to me feels like older Charli, when Charli was sort of like ringleader more. Like if you look at the track list for Number One Angel or Pop 2 or Charli, there are all these people on there. And that went away with How I'm Feeling Now, kind of out of necessity. That went away with Crash. Other than that one has Rina Sawayama, and does Crash have anybody else?
New Shapes, like there's
New Shapes, yes.
Christine and Caroline.
Christine and the Queens and Caroline Polachek, yeah.
And all people that it's funny. Charli is a lot like me, where it's like, wait, where's Rina Sawayama? Oh, I don't know her. You know, like
yeah. So like, I think that this album in more than one way is like it's a celebration of Brat, her success. It's also a throwback to like older Charli by being like by bringing all these artists together. And you know, I think that the roster of characters here have a lot more stature than the people that she was cultivating like in the past. And I also think that this is the first time where Charli is like an actual ringleader. You know, like other than Ariana Grande, she's clearly bigger than everyone here. right? Like maybe Lord, like maybe Robin, but like I don't know. Charlie's like pretty head and
Not
shoulders.
maybe Robin. Not now. Not in the Eurolord 2025. I'm sorry.
For sure. I'm just saying like Robin is like a legend, right?
Right, but
A legend
But
passed away.
Charlie's obviously bigger than Robin now. Yeah, so like there's that going on, and I also feel like this album is almost like a like maybe take a bit of a walk with me. Maybe this is like too grand of a label to put it on. But it
Please,
almost
yeah.
feels like the 2024 version of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Ooh.
Like in terms of like the sheer amount of like vibes that are going on and how much of like a celebration of like pop culture and like music that this is. There's like a deceptive amount that is like attached to Brat, and it's completely different. And I feel like it just really rewards people who are like longtime fans, love this kind of music. They've been in the know. Like there's a lot of meat to chew on here.
yeah, well, I do just want to add to that comparison to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Oh.
I mean, I feel like there's even like a little bit of like reference there, like in Everything Is Romantic, the remix, where it's like everything is romantic. Sasquatch, Godzilla, King Kong, Loch Ness, Goblin, ghouls, and zombies with no conscience.
Right.
What do all these things have in common? They're all romantic. Yeah, so I don't know. I think that's right on the nose.
I didn't pick up on that the first time around. But,
Yeah.
now that you mention that, yeah, that is an interesting parallel that you can draw between these two words.
It seems so obvious on
Yeah.
reflection. But what was your question, even, Andrew?
Themes.
I was not active listening. I was like making sure I had the lyrics to Monster right before I said that stupid joke.
Yeah. What do you take away from themes, I guess?
Themes. This is like attending your own funeral a little bit, where it's like you get to see how people reacted to like, because in a way this is like a death of the old Charlie, where it's like indie darling Charlie to some degree, right? Like she's made it mainstream, and then she gets to like comment on it immediately after. Like, what's the song that I think about a lot when we're talking? Like back to back with Tinashe on this, she's like, now we're famous. Both of us are famous now. You know, I mean, one of us is a little more famous, but you know, we both are kind of famous now. You know,
Tinashe's got Match My Freak. That's a pretty famous song.
yeah, she has one little song that got popular. Mhm.
Yeah, that song is so famous that you just called it the correct title of that song, which is nasty.
Yeah.
I like Tinashe. No Broke Boys is really good. That whole album is actually pretty good, but it's just whatever. All that being said is like I feel like she gets to do like this postmortem, which is interesting. It's interesting to hear what she has to say about her own stuff, like because I feel like Brat is a little bit about like I love to party and I want to settle down. Like I think it's so encapsulated a little bit, and you know, like I think about it all the time. Like she's just like, what if I hang it up?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
what's worth it?
This is her first post Brat album, because obviously because of like, you know, the chronology, but you know, like Michael said, that you could like divide her career now into pre and post Brat. Now, like this is just such a defining moment for her career. Her entire life has been building up to this moment, and now she's like in the cycle. And I do think this is like world building. Brat world building, like in terms of like, I would say Brat is very much in her head. Like even though she's at the club, the entire album kind of takes place in her head. Like, what does she think of these other? How does this person make her feel? You know, it's some of it's about memories, some of it's about her own insecurities and stuff like that. And this album kind of externalizes the other characters of like, you know. Girls So Confusing. It's about Lord, and then Lord shows up here as a real human being. We hear her perspective, and they're together, and they understand each other better. Yeah.
When I got your voicemail, I was speechless. Circle it, question mark. What isn't this speech?
Yeah, I think it's just like also, it's a lot about like leaning on her support system. You know, the support system she's cultivated in the last 10 years, like Caroline Polachek, A.G. Cooks, Troye Sivan. And then also since I'm in this new world, since I'm new Charlie now, it's also like calling on old guard musicians who know exactly what she's going through, you know, like Ariana and Robin and Bon Iver to like, and yeah, so I don't know, like that's it's a little bit about that's some of my thoughts.
I wonder how much thought was put into this album, like, and when. Because the timeline, as I understand it, of this album is like a little, like, it's pretty interesting, right? She put out 360 and Von Dutch, those remixes before Brat was out, and I know that she has worked on some of these some of these songs like pretty late, leading up to
Yeah, like Back to Back is I think the last one done before this was
yeah,
done.
and she mentions in or she mentioned in the live stream when she was in that field that the first remix that she had completed for this album was actually Rewind with Blade. Which I think is interesting because like Rewind is kind of about her hitting this out of the park, like a little bit. Just being like, yeah, I wish I could go back, like when things were like a little more simple. So there's a little bit of that element of like she just fucking knew. Like she knew she had lightning in a bottle with this album. But like I think that depending on the timeline here, like the reflections are pretty interesting, like how quick things were put together with like Lord and whatnot. And I also think it's just like interesting the people that she chose to roll out some of the themes that are going on here. You know, like her bringing out Robin and Addison Rae to me almost feels like her kind of showing off a bit. You know, I can get this legend named Robin. Or
it's old guard and new guard,
right?
Like
I can get this legend Robin. I can introduce Addison Rae to the world as like a bona fide, like legitimate musician.
Diet Pepsi is one of the best pop songs I've heard in years. Truly,
it's a banger.
Thank you, Charlie. Everyone say thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie. I do frequently.
I know.
Yeah, and yeah, so I think like that, like there's just so much going on here, and then you get to some of the maybe more fruitful for discussion areas, like Mean Girls, like bringing on Julian Casablancas for Mean Girls. You know,
I love that remix.
I do. I actually do too. It is so cheesy and like out of left field of just like like how did that go? Was she just like looking through her Rolodex and
it's giving I have a name. It is.
Yeah, and Julian Casablancas like she probably gave him the track list, and without even listening to any of the songs for a vibe check or anything, he saw Mean Girls down there and he was like, "Well, my ex-wife was mean." And so they just they got in this
have you seen that meme that's like his lyrics about like, why did we get divorced? Oh my God, life is hard. Like, I can't believe we got divorced. This is like bad. Like, and then it's like Charlie, like in her like 2000s British makeup being like, this one's for my mean girl.
Yeah. There's just so many confusing things going on there. And like, yeah, Julian Casablancas is just like, my ex-wife was mean. And, I like that song, Owner of a Lonely Heart, like what if we just, I don't know, take this action figure in this hand, this action figure in this hand, and just smash them together.
That's kind of what's fun. Is it's like, what can this possibly be? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That the first time I saw the track list, I certainly perked up a little bit, being like, "What the hell is that?"
We need to start talking about the album. I really want to. I feel like I'm already digging into it.
Let's dig in a little bit. Like, what's a highlight song from this album?
I am gonna go probably like weirdest back, or maybe I don't know what's a good way to like look at this. Do I go like highlights based on what I prefer to the original? Like, is that a good way to compare, or like, what do we think?
I think like just like what comes to your head first, and then I think we could talk about that song and then see which one do we like more, like the remix or the original.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna say I really like the Japanese House Apple.
I like it
think
too. Yeah.
I really, really like. I don't feel like it's very different from the original song, but I do like. Maybe I think I'm a sucker for like talking about your like queer lived experience, and the Japanese House being like, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to talk to you guys. Like, I relate, and I think lots of people can relate, even if you're not queer. Like, it's like, talking to your mom and dad, that's hard sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's already what Apple was about. But I feel like Japanese House, kind of reverse of Mean Girls, is like, I'm going to use my experience and conjoin it with Charlie's, I'm willing to blend into this song a little bit. And it introduced me to Japanese House, who I've listened to a lot since this album. So,
yeah. I love a theme of this album also to me is it's completely different but also still Brat. So like she's now a superstar, global superstar, has a cult classic hit, a massive mainstream hit, all that such, an awesome catalog. And before this album came out, it was weird talking to her parents. She was having a hard time. And guess what? 6 months later, it's still kind of weird. It's still kind of hard. It's still kind of challenging. But also everything is different. It's like, like I'm still thinking about, my biological clock and stuff. I'm still thinking about
me as Charlie's like 60-year-old Indian parents. We'd like, I love that you sing about doing coke a lot.
I think that song's great though.
How about you guys? Highlights? Give me highlights. Me at a hair salon. Give me highlights.
All right.
Me at the dentist's office looking at children's magazines. Give me highlights.
God. Doo-doo tracks.
That one I actually feel is kind of good.
No, that was actually really that was. I got to give you props on that one. I feel like the obvious highlight for me. I'm looking at the track list right now. I think the biggest one for me is probably I Think About It All the Time with Bon Iver. I feel like the remix for that song here is like so, it's so different, but still Brat. That like what happens on the remix here with him, like that to me is the mission statement and like the like thesis of this remix album of like re-examining her life once again through the lens of like now her blowing up. Brat was her looking inward, just kind of for the sake of it, and wondering what's all this for, and this is all her doing the same thing but now in the context of being a main pop girl, which is something that she's worked for since she was 17 years old or whatever. I love what Bon Iver did here. Like, it's essentially just like, I don't even know. There's so many things going on in this song. Like, it's Bon Iver doing his weird Bon Iver-ness that like all millennials are gonna love. Like, Charlie's still wondering about her biological clock. There's like the interpolation of like that. Why can't I think of that song? With somebody to love me. What's that song?
Dance with some.
Yeah, dance with somebody.
Why couldn't dance with somebody?
Yeah, I want. Yeah, why couldn't I think of that? But yeah, like there's like that like weird.
Is this interpolated with that?
Yeah, like, what is it? Scared to run out of time. Is that not what she's doing there?
I want to dance with somebody who loves me. I don't think so.
I think that's
what
an intentional.
Are you the lawsuit between Katy Perry and Lecrae?
No, I'm the dead nun who was trying to acquire the
please,
house.
Katy Perry.
Please stop.
Please stop.
Please stop. Yeah, that's who I am. But
good. Katy Perry said so many terrible things happen in her life. I love it.
Katy Perry really. When are we doing the 143 episode, huh?
I can't wait.
Yeah, I like this. The center of the album to me feels like it is shifted to I Think About It All the Time Bon Iver's doing his Bon Iver thing, kind of coming out of the woodwork because this was before the Bon Iver EP, and he just showed up on this, did the damn thing.
What's the thing, Andrew, where Bon Iver is like this? I don't like the man's voice. What's that from?
I think it was from like Taylor Swift, like pop heads thread. Like,
This is like
the male
reverse-
voice scared me.
Yeah, this is reverse of the male voice scares me. He's so fun in this. I feel like he's having like a great time, and I like hearing him. I
He's
don't know.
singing his ass off too.
Yes, it's like I found love. Like
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, it's very theatrical, and like Charlie almost feels like the straight man here, you know?
Yeah, literally.
Where it's like, how often did that happen?
Probably a lot. She hangs out with Troye Sivan a lot.
All right, that's enough out of you.
Like, yeah, I really love this is my favorite meta moment of the album because this album is very meta. It's a lot about, you know, we cut up the vocals of this song just now, and I'm looking at Addison Rae, and she's right here recording the song.
All
You
right,
know?
wait. I gotta tie my shoe behind the DJ booth. I'm tying my shoe. It's taking a second. It's 1 second. Okay, whoa! I'm so energized now that I tied my shoe under the DJ booth. Let's chop up some more vocals.
Yeah, it's very, because it's like in the middle of the cycle of just like she's after Brat, it's just go 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 go, you know. And she said first you're locked into the album, then you're locked into the promo, all that stuff. So like 3 years, so because of this album's success, she has like 3 more years locked off to not have a baby, basically. And she's gonna be in a bunch of movies now, and I think she's like kind of grieving that lost time while also being super grateful for the success she always wanted, since she was like 17.
Totally.
Yeah, love it. Yeah,
I really like the So I feature. I feel like A.G. Cook, her, and Sophie had a really close working relationship, and that was something I was very keen on, especially at the time that she worked with Sophie. So I really like just knowing that when she's doing this remix album, it's very intentional. I feel like some of the artists are kind of random, but having A.G. Cook with her on the So I remix, and I think it's also it makes it fun a little bit. So they made So I a little more fun than it is on Brat, which of course that I don't need it to be a big club banger, but it is it's moving even in just it sounding more fun because Sophie made such fun, interesting, upbeat music. Make it faster. So I got A.G. Cook to help me make it faster. You know what I mean? I think it's I love it. It's like you said, meta. It moves me, and I love A.G. Cook, one of the men who's allowed to sing. So.
I really like the remix on there too. That also feels like a in addition to being the obvious tribute to Sophie, the So I remix feels really like a nod to some of her older, more abrasive stuff when she wasn't quite trying to chase main pop girl status, on Charlie, on
Click.
Yeah, Charlie, Pop 2, I guess Vroom Vroom, when would you believe it when she was working more closely with Sophie? This
Right.
feels like an ode to that. But it feels like it's, in addition to being an ode to Sophie, it does feel like it's an ode to the older fans with
Totally.
no, I was just gonna say the Angels. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, have you ever listened to Sophie's Oil of Every Pearl's Uninsides?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I feel like some of Sophie's work is intentionally hard to listen to.
Yes.
What if this sounded insane? And I that's we lost a true talent with Sophie. It really is upsetting to even still talk about it. She made pop music the way it is now. A single touch point of how the way pop music sounds now. It's crazy.
Yeah, completely agreed. It's just carrying the torch for Sophie's vision of pop. Charli obviously has her own vision of that,
And that's been blended a little bit with Sophie's at this point.
Yeah, like Charlie's still like trudging her own path. Like she's very much a visionary, but she's also like that felt very much like a nod, being like, don't forget like what Sophie was like doing with that.
I mean, why do we all love Taxi?
Right. Yes. I
Because of Danny
that
DeVito.
also like it also kind of reminds me of like seeing some of the discourse around the remix album. Like another highlight for me. I don't know how you guys feel about this one because it seems to be contentious in all the Reddit of it all.
Yeah,
but,
please go ahead.
The Sympathy Is a Knife remix with Ari.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
I like it a lot, and I've seen a lot of people, a lot of newer fans of Charli kind of go at that song, being like, it's disappointing, and like, what's up with the outro to that song? And like, that
outro's awesome. It's so cool.
Yes, I agree. Like they're, I love that this collaboration feels incredibly random. Like, I very much doubt that Charli and Ariana have ever been in the same room together.
No.
And I think that it's cool that Ariana just signed on to do this and deliver a very heartfelt, introspective verse that's like very much in line with everything she's been going through this year, with her re-entering the spotlight with the album that we talked about the last time I was on the show, and with Wicked, and just kind of being exposed to that. And, this is all about like, oh, you're on top. Well, the next step of that is everybody wants to see you fuck up. But kind of like with the So I remix, like the outro of Sympathy Is a Knife, like there's just these like there's this weirdness that's sprinkled in here that I don't want to say Brat and like her last couple albums. Well, How I'm Feeling Now is pretty damn weird too. But like with Crash and Brat, I don't want to say they were devoid of like weird moments, but like the edges were sanded down like a little bit compared to a lot of her work. And the moments like this kind of felt like a little bit like Charli was shaking the tree a little bit of like the normies to just be like, I'm still weird. Mm-hmm. I'm still with it. Like I can still be unique and whatnot.
Yeah, because like the Brat is such a good skeleton for this album. Like every song you listen to, you're reminded, oh, Brat is so good.
Yes.
So like the
I love having both. Yes,
because you already set the skeleton up with the original Brat album. This can be weirder. She can shake the tree more, without having to worry about like, will this reach mainstream success and stuff like that. I think that's but also like the fact that like Sympathy Is a Knife is a great song, and then Sympathy Is a Knife, this version has the hook, it's a knife, like just that over and over is such a great.
Well, it kind of edges you a little bit, like
a knife.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. Whereas Sympathy Is a Knife is such a banger, this is not as much of a banger. And when I first heard it, I was kind of off put by it. I do think it is a grow on you kind of song. Like I really
absolutely.
like it now, especially because it's like if I'm feeling like listening to the original Sympathy Is a Knife, I can go ahead and just turn that on.
Yeah.
It's the curse of having more sometimes. It's like now I have the choice, and so I can compare,
Yeah, I love I love having the option available, as like both of you guys have said though. Like I kind of tend to stay away from like getting attached to too many artists to the point of like listening to leaks and whatnot now. Like if I come across something on like, Blue Sky or Reddit or something, like, yeah, I'll click it if, it tickles me. But like, back in the day, when I was like a pretty major Kanye fan, there would be like all these different versions of songs that would like leak and whatnot. And you'd be like, damn, that's sick. Can't wait for that to come out. And then it came out and it's completely different. And you're like, well, what the hell what the hell happened there? And like, even though this is like a sequel album, it's cool that we have like, yeah, the version of Sympathy of the Knife that like edges you with Ariana Grande versus like the original, which is essentially like Gone 2. Like it's already like a sequel. Like it's already like a little iterative, and Charlie's very much an artist that goes through like so many writing phases with everything that, I'll take everything that I can get.
Exactly. She's an artist I want the demos of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you can get them if you go to her Google Drive, where the password is apparently 1234.
Literally. Made me laugh when she was on her crash tour. She did tweet like, "Angels, do you guys have the Google Drive leak of XCX World?" And she started playing that before and after her show, like that Google Drive leak. And I thought that was so funny. I'm like, Charlie, you are hilarious.
Yeah,
like me listening to Taxi while I pee before the show starts. Like, what is happening?
Like even on the guest remix, you want to guess the password to my Google Drive? Like, come on.
It's so cunty to say that. I love it.
That's like fucking iconic. The first time I heard that, I like burst out laughing. Like, okay, at least she has a good sense of humor.
Yeah, famously, she will never have two-factor authentication. Like, for some reason, she does not want that.
There was a period of time when like when our pop heads was like first starting to pop off in like 2017.
Before they were just heads.
Yes, before they were just heads.
I don't know. I'm out of my F game today.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey man, all you got to do is be faster than the slowest person, and we got doo-doo tracks. So like, I hate to keep getting back to that.
Wait, what the?
All right.
Hell?
But there was like a period of time when pop heads was like starting to pop off. Like every time I would go on Reddit in 2017 and on that subreddit, like every time, like it would be like, oh, another 30 Charli XCX songs leaked, and like the top comment every time was like, "Girl, what are you doing?" Like,
I remember that, and I also remember that's when they instated the you cannot share the link rule in that subreddit. So it'd be like one comment that's like, "Girl, what are you doing?" and then like 50 deleted comments, and I'm like, I guess.
Yeah, like she's got a lot of stuff out there.
Speaking of leaks, Charlie actually there was another remix that was like leaked with Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was going to be on the album, but unfortunately,
we have 20 more minutes to record it. Are you good with that? This is what you want to do? You want to play this?
Look, to be honest, to be like completely honest, like the reason why my analysis is so not there today is because I was prepping all these. I was finding these Google Drive.
Yeah. You're finding them.
So
okay, let's
anyway,
hear. I can't wait.
Yeah. Here we go.
Once again, by the way, that first leak is not even a song for Brad. So
yeah.
Just interesting. Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
I'm Bob Dylan. This is a real song.
Okay.
Oh, it's another Britpop one.
Yeah.
Like Dylan. Visions of Joanna. I could not be all alone. Everybody must get stoned.
Yeah, so that's
Charli XCX is a new Bob Dylan.
I like that DJ tag.
Was it a rule that on all these remixes they all had to say their own names like Pokemon?
It was really cool that it was also cool that like there's like a little like a subtle interpolation of Visions of Joanna in there.
Yeah, it blends their sounds beautifully together.
Anyways,
that's a great job of keeping up with the times.
Yeah, low lights of this album.
Yeah, I'm gonna give one right now. I'm hitting the button that drops out Club Classics featuring BB Tricks.
Crazy.
Ooh,
you're crazy. I did
Tricks.
not know. Is this a common opinion?
I don't know. This is my opinion though.
For sure. I like genuinely, this is one of those opinions that I hear it and I'm like, I didn't know you were allowed to have that.
It's just not when I go to the club, I want to hear just club classics, just club classics, just club classics, not this remix. Honestly, Club Classics has too iconic of a sound to me to where I don't even want to hear this like chopped up bad version. I also think
a 365 remix. It's not a Club Classics remix. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, agree. I do like BB Trix's verse. Sorry I called her doo-doo tracks, but I do like her verse. I think it's fun to. I like that it's in Spanish. I like, talk to me in Spanish. It's Spanish, right? Yeah. Okay.
I'll give you this. Club Classics is a bad remix, but it's like to me it's a fun
go
like
off in the
mashup
club.
song.
Yeah, it would go off if I found this on SoundCloud and go like, wow, it's cool that someone made this.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I'd be obsessed with this.
The new verse is hard. I like the mashup between Club Classics and 365. Like I think it's fun.
I kind of have a few lowlights. It feels
go
bad. I like a lot of them too, but I'm gonna also say Young Lean sounds bad in this. I like
Young
Robin,
Lean.
but Young Lean, I've always thought that 360 remix would benefit from not having Young Lean if it was just Charli and Robin.
That's another bad take. Like, I love Young Lean in that. I think that his voice is like really playful and like dare I say like kind of sexy. Like the way that he's like, you got that push up on it, right in your ear. Like the fact that like they that he found a way to spin that 360 into having like another insanely catchy hook. All like in a song that's already like ridiculously catchy, and he carves out like his own little niche there. I love it.
Okay, you know what? I'll take that one back. Young Lean, you could stay on.
I think of him as like, like when you have sushi and like there's ginger, so that like it's a palate cleanser, so you could taste the difference between like tuna and like salmon or whatever. It's kind of like because like I just like the way they like kind of like pass the ball to each other, the three of them. I think they have like really good chemistry. It feels like what's it called? The three kids who are forced to be on a group project and they do okay.
And they do a pretty good job. Yeah. But they like wouldn't hang out otherwise. That's definitely how it feels. Yes.
Yeah. Low light. I just like the Might Say Something Stupid song is it's like she's so avant-garde that it's circled back to like like being avant-garde would be releasing a song like this, that's slow and has instruments. Like it just,
right. What if there were instruments?
Just like, I don't know, just like humanizing the heel, the Maddie Healy character, a figure I find pretty unlikable. Like,
do people call him the heel?
They should.
I call them
that's
the
actually
heel,
kind of genius.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's fun and funny.
Yeah, it's just like he might say something stupid like how he's gonna punch Azalea Banks for some reason, just like
I'm ready. Him and Azalea Banks need their own Netflix fight special, like Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
I feel like the real winner of that fight would be like it would either be us the audience, or it would be nobody.
Yeah,
one or the other.
Watching that, who's turning into Maddie Healy Azalea Banks audience of like 15 freaks?
A Roblox concert of this.
Yeah.
Any other lowlights? So,
I go back and forth on I Might Say Something Stupid because I think people look at that song and, correctly probably have the expectation of, okay, the 1975 are probably going to be quite involved with this song considering their name is on it. And that's going to make me think a certain way, especially when this is on a Charli XCX album. And the last time they collabed was that Spinning song. But that song
which sounds like neither of them, by the way.
Yeah, which sounds like neither of them. But that song is tucked away in the very long title is John Hopkins. And that song is really just a John Hopkins song that happens to have Maddie Healy and Charli XCX on it. And I like
mostly Maddie Healy.
Yeah, mostly Maddie Healy. And I like the John Hopkins of it. And I even think that there's some fun to be had there with Maddie Healy kind of being like, I don't know, reflecting on the Maddie Healy of it all. You could take or leave that in a vacuum. But I don't know. I wish that song had a bit more of bite to it, though, at the end of it. It kind of just feels like there's a whole lot of nothing airiness, and I like that. And then there's a bit of a buildup, and I kind of like that. But then there's just nothing.
Yeah, it fades into nothingness. I skip it when I listen through, so that is pretty damning.
Yeah. As far as lowlights for me, I think as much as it pains me to say it, I'm a huge Blade fan, but I don't know how much the Rewind remix really does for me.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's like fine, but I think it doesn't really have that much different from like the original Rewind going on, and it just kind of has me being like, yeah, that's like a remix.
Yeah, it's not like it's if the whole album was this amount of tweaked, we wouldn't say it's like a new album. It'd be like, yeah, it's kind of different.
Right. Yeah, it's not completely different. It's just
Also, Rewind is just such a pure pop song that doing anything to it is very like, I don't know. I'm a little disinterested in whatever this is gonna bring to the table and what it does bring to the table. So
yeah. I am a huge Blade fan though. Don't get me wrong. I may
is
be
it Blade and not Bloody like I wanted it to be?
No, see this, my friend, welcome to the vortex, okay? The step one of the vortex is finding Blade and being like, Bladey, that's a fun way to say that. And then you listen to Blade and you're like, that was silly and dumb and sounds silly and dumb. But then you can't get it out of your head. And then you're like, oh, it's actually pronounced Blade. And next thing you know, you're dressing like one of the Underpass goths from that old internet video, and you're Drain Gang, baby. Welcome to Drain Gang.
Honestly, I do love all of. I've looked at Blade's Spotify before, and I do love all of his album artwork. That is very interesting to me, especially the Ice Dancer cover. I'm like, what is this? And then I bounce off of it, and then I'm like, okay, what is this? Like every 6 months I try, you know.
Cold Visions from last year was chef's kiss. It's very good. Like it's very vibe music. As a 33-year-old, I'm far too old for it, but you know, like I'm Drain Gang still, baby.
Oh man, I love being too old for something.
Nothing
brings me more pleasure than being too old for something.
Yeah, I mean, the way that you got to deal with that is like you got to look at it like, okay, I may be old, but I can actually do this better than the youths. You know, like I could be a bigger drainer than somebody half my age. You know.
That's great.
What's his name when he saw Jacob Elordi in Saltburn?
I think the remix that did the least amount for me was the Apple remix. I didn't really get a whole lot out of that, but it's grown on me a bit. Like when I was listening to it today, I was like, yeah, you know what? This is a cute little bop.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. But Michael, you said you had a couple other lowlights. Like
I don't know, there's just some that don't hit for me, and I know this is like a hot take. This is my hottest take. I know is the 365 remix. I don't care for it at all.
It's fine.
That's another crazy take.
Yeah. Well, I saw them do it live. Also, when I saw her show, which you know, as many of us have, as so many have, but I just am like, Shy Girl is not a performer. Get back behind the DJ booth. Like, she is such a low energy performer. It drives me insane, and I think that like poisoned the well a little bit for listening to this song.
That's fair. I did not see the Sweat tour, so I have none of the songs kind of affecting me.
So I didn't hear any of the other remixes. It was just they brought Shy Girl out to do this after because she was with one of the openers, and it's just like I was kind of like, okay, you know.
Yeah. That's kind of disappointing to hear.
Also, I already hear a 365 remix earlier in this album with the Club Classics remix. So it's like, okay, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, Charli.
Okay, but like, which 365 remix do you like more?
Probably Club Classics.
This is great. What an insane circle of logic that we have here. After all that,
I don't like either, but if I have to keep one of the babies, I'll keep this one and drown the other.
You can cut it in half like King Solomon.
Okay, I'm cutting them in half. I'm cutting 365 in half like King Solomon.
Lola, I guess like straight observations. I'll just rattle them off real quickly. Talk Talk is my favorite Troye Sivan Charli collab. It's so there's like a bit of like let's check in with our old friends again. Let's check in with like our, like Troye Sivan and Caroline Polachek.
Dua Lipa, please, can you be on this?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Je ne sais quoi. Just like,
Moi?
Wait, what all songs have Charlie and Troy done together? I know they got 1999.
2099.
2099?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the only one though? Like, is that the only one?
They've also done.
I think they have another one.
There's somewhere. Yeah.
While she was performing in Dallas, someone held up a phone that said "Play 2099." And Troy goes, I have never seen or Charlie says, I've never seen anyone request that. And then Troy said, I didn't even know anyone has heard that, which made me laugh.
I think that's actually all that they've done together.
Yeah.
It's 2099, 1999, and Talk Talk, which is kind of crazy because they're
like peas in a pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, but it's like, they have to like, a song like Talk Talk and Everything Is Romantic. There's like, they have to like kind of compete against their past of like their prior collaborations. I think they like rise up to the occasion. I think that's really fun. Just Girls So Confusing's great. Spring Breakers. I like the idea of like, we talked last time about like how collaborate, like Ariana references like Mean Girls and like Eternal Sunshine as like millennial movies. Well, like Spring Breakers is like the arch millennial movie choice, just like I'm a little like edgy, I'm a little like arty and stuff like that, and that's my reference movie. And then also just like featuring Kesha of just like, are Kim Petras and her good? It's just kind of like making a choice between those two, like, or I don't know, maybe they're fine.
I didn't even consider like the.
I don't know why Kim isn't on here, but I've thought about that a lot actually.
Mm-hmm.
Who could know?
I think that there's a lot going on behind, like, we don't know these people, right? Like,
no.
As much of like a stan as I am of Charlie in a way, I don't doubt that she's not that she's like difficult to be around.
Charlie?
Right? Yes.
Kim Petras. Oh.
Both of these people, yeah.
Both for far different reasons, but like, with Charlie, like from the limited information that we have, like, yeah, we know that she's cheated on every partner that she's had, like,
yes.
Except for George, like, to my knowledge.
Ostensibly,
yeah. Like, we know that she definitely, like, puts fame above, like, fame has been a large goal for her. I don't think it's the only goal, and I don't think that she has sacrificed artistry or, like, all of her friendships for it, but, like, she's definitely played.
That's
favorites.
her other goal. I would say artistry is her other goal.
Totally.
Yeah.
And being sexy.
Yes, she loves being sexy, and I constantly have to explain that I think that Charlie's attractive, but not in a gay way, right?
Right, like me being like hot lady, hot lady.
Yeah, like guys, just so you know, all right, no homo, but
I want to motorboat Charlie as a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like no homo, but I'm gonna like this picture of Charlie resting nobly.
This is a beautiful woman.
Yeah,
no homo.
Like you gotta explain that now.
Thank you, Charlie.
But she's got like layers to her, and like Rina Sawayama situation was like kind of a peek into that, where it's like
it still is kind of like it's like
they
are not good.
Yeah,
no, they're not good, and they were pretty damn close for a minute, and it's like, okay, well, did that situation unfurl the way that it did because she was truly like on George, like Maddie Healy vis-a-vis George? Was she doing that because she didn't want that sort of drama to play out in like the mainstream of like pushing back against like, racism and misogyny, like in front of an audience? Like what was going on there? Like there's I want to give a shout out. There's an artist that I listen to named Kitty, or maybe Kitty Ray. This is maybe a bit of a throwback, but do you guys remember a song that was like kind of viral in the Tumblr days, where there was like this white girl rapper, and she was with Riff Raff, and she called herself the rap game Taylor Swift?
No.
Okay, well, so there's this lady.
Sounds
there's this-
bad.
Oh, well, okay, it was like Krayshawn, Krayshawn Core, if you remember Krayshawn. Does anybody remember Krayshawn?
I don't know.
You're saying all these words, and I'm feeling like what's that scene where like it's like everything's confusing. Everything's so confusing to me. I'm like
No, I know I'm firing this off like very heavily because I'm trying to pack a point in without getting too off base here. Krayshawn, though, come on. She had that one song that was one big room full of bad bitches. You guys don't remember that?
Okay,
No, I don't.
Congratulations to you not getting off point, by the way.
All right. Fuck up. Okay, so Kitty was she was like a former like SoundCloud rapper before SoundCloud was a thing. Then she became bedroom pop, kind of in the same era of Charli's early days coming up. And I love Kitty. She has no audience. Like, she has produced some fantastic bedroom pop records, and there's some of my favorite records that have come out in the last decade. And Kitty, in the Brat era, has been subtweeting Charli pretty damn hard, being like, I have reached out to Charli in the past, and she has ignored my calls. Like once she was like getting like other opportunities, I guess like at some point they had some sort of relationship. So there's all these angles coming back like that are to Charli the person and Charli the artist. And, there's definitely a little bit of like a survivorship bias, like who made the cut here on this album. And that was my very roundabout way of making that point.
Yeah, I think that's why Ariana works as a feature. It actually makes a lot of sense because I think they're both facing like justifiable, like, oh, we're dealing with misogyny, we're dealing with being dissected by, people who are jealous of us, people who hate women.
People who are jealous of Ariana, like Lena Waithe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So she's dealing with that. They're both also dealing with maybe we're bad people. Like maybe we're bad people, and those truths like sit together, next to each other. I really like that. I like that. Like the Taylor Swift of it all, like she doesn't seem to. She kind of like just like does lip service to like she might be a bad person, but I don't think she's just like too like clouded at this point. So like yeah. Yeah, so let's go through final thoughts and ratings. The way this works is we'll rate this album out of 10 with a fun metric at the end. We didn't even get to talk about Girls So Confusing. It's so good though. It's like we've all talked about.
What more can you like honestly say about Girls?
It's all been said.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I kind of get a little. I love Girls So Confusing. I love Lord. I am kind of exhausted about the discourse around that song.
It's okay that we are generating no new discourse on it.
Yeah.
However, my rating out of 10 for this album is gonna be. I rate like a bitch. When I gave this a 10, someone said that.
All right.
Yeah, I'll give it 7 ACAB tags on a bus stop sign. It's good. It's very solid. It's meant to be subsumed by Brat. It's meant to be, like sort of like you compared it to Twisted Fantasy. I compare it to Pablo, where it's just like the multiple versions of the same song and just like kind of like having like the, like that adding texture and depth to the actual product. And it's all a living album. And it's like grief, the grief of Sophie is like, man, I pushed her away. I was a bad friend. And then also, let's remember all the joyous times. Like, would she be proud of me? Her advice was to make it faster. So I did make it faster on this song. All that, like, all this just like makes it really interesting and like alive and three-dimensional in a really cool way. So yeah, 7 ACAB tags on a bus stop sign out of 10.
I'm gonna give this one 8.5 doo-doo tracks in a good way out of 10. I think that the original Brat is a 10. I think it's a 10 in every sense, right? It succeeds on its own merits. It succeeds like in meeting the moment. It succeeds in creating a moment. And I think that this one this remix album has so much like lore and context attached to it that like it's obviously going to live in that shadow. I just want to know like everything with regards to like how this album was made, the timeline of it and everything, like how they knew the first one was going to be such a smash, how everybody got on here. That like I want to know that story. But I think that this does a really like amicable job of you know, what we were saying like at the beginning of the episode, like following up, clarifying, subverting, all of that. Like it's a response to Brat, and it responds in a lot of ways that sometimes are contradictory, and they're almost always at least interesting. Even the decision to make 2 365 remixes.
More like 730.
All right. All right. This guy, wait, is seven? Yeah, it would be 730.
Oh, 365.
This
Yeah,
guy maths.
365 together.
Yeah.
Two of those would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was our review of Brat. What's this? There's another remix in the Google Drive.
Oh my God.
Shit.
Damn, this is a scoop.
No wonder you had nothing to say about this album,
Yeah,
Andrew.
like,
You're busy.
I was busy digging.
Wait, who is this? Who is this?
This is Katy Perry. You know, like she was actually like rumored to be on the album, but like she's here. So let's listen to it. Here we go. Huh.
One of my love languages is acts of service. So it's like if I come downstairs and the kitchen is clean and you've done it all, and you've done all the dishes and you've closed all the pantry doors, you better be ready to get your dick sucked. I mean, like literally, that is my love language. I don't need a red Ferrari. I can buy a red Ferrari. Just do the fucking dishes. I will suck your dick. It's not easy.
So
That is like the most 2015 ass interview clip.
It really is. Oh man, there should be another one where it's like huck to huck to, and then at the end it's like, anywho, sorry to interrupt. I'm going to bed. You guys
would
have
have
seen that clip,
yeah,
right?
I've seen, yeah, when she did that rug pull. So yeah.
Anywho, sorry to interrupt. I'm going to bed. See y'all.
Look, I don't know if that was worth it, but anyways, I don't know if that was worth sacrificing the quality of my criticism. I worked hard on those. I'm like, I'm looking back at it like the Ghost of Christmas Past. I'm like, oh, like
I liked it.
I spent my life doing that
it too.
All right,
You legitimately had me going with the first one. That was like
I was like, how did I not know about this? And
yeah,
then,
I was genuinely like, what the hell? I did not know that there was like an array of artists that didn't make the cut.
when you said Bruce Springsteen, I knew what was up though.
no, and like Dakota was like, I'm locking in. I think this is even more true.
I love Bruce Springsteen, and like I'm not gonna put it past Charli to somehow get the boss, and you know, he was on a Bleachers record, and that album was ass. Like, why not be on an album that was good?
Why not be on an album that was
Frost. So thank you so much, Dakota, for showing up, and you know, I really admire your reviews and like just like your pen game and like how like sharp your reviews are, and like like your sense of humor is just so sharp and witty. Yeah, where can people find you? What for people who are
Yeah, they can find me the same places as last time. You know, I'm plugging away at Sputnik as a reviewer. Find me on Instagram, down_with_fun. You know, I'm around. You know, feel free to reach out.
You are one of my favorite Instagram accounts, truly. So I'm
thanks,
always
man.
happy to see stories.
down. Did I know?
The AC/DC Back in Black is having a bit of a moment on my account.
Yeah, during No Humor January.
Yeah, it is No Humor January, and I should have paid attention to that in this episode. So please don't release this until February.
I am not being funny. Well, good thing you were being too funny on this episode. So
yeah. Good thing I just completely fucked it up. You know?
I'm just kidding. I hope
You're so
that you
funny,
know that
yeah.
I'm just being silly.
No, dude,
enjoy having you on my
Michael,
podcast.
I love you, man. We
Perfect.
played
We played Deadlock one time.
Yeah,
Wow.
we played Deadlock like 2 or 3 times.
That's
together.
true, and then not
Shit!
again.
Yeah, do you still play Deadlock?
No, I've been playing Marvel Rivals lately.
Maybe I'll have to get on that. We can play
It's
that
very
together.
fun. Overwatch, but with Marvel superheroes.
Yeah, maybe we can do
fun.
that.
Yeah, hit me up.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a fantastic episode. You can follow me at Andrew Ambrose Lee on all platforms, Michael at Limentato on all platforms. Like and subscribe to this video if you're watching this on YouTube. Follow our Patreon. I've been meaning to watch that. $2.99 for the I've been meaning to watch that podcast, and then $40.99 for the early access to episodes and maybe exclusive episodes here and there and all that stuff. So Dakota, any final thoughts before we conclude here today?
Go Ravens.
Yeah.
Go Ravens
Not
on that.
go Ravens.
Why not? Why not, man? Why not? We
I
just
don't
we just spent an hour and a half talking. I can contain multitudes, okay? We spent
I
an hour
don't.
and a
I
half
contain
talking.
singlet too.
He's a
Hour and a
straight
half
man who
talking
thinks
Charli.
Charli XCX is attractive.
You
like,
must
you
like
know-
Charli XCX friends. This is like derogatory.
What does that mean?
You're straight. Straight behavior identified.
Look,
Partial straight behavior.
straight
You're like a
white,
Fantano Charlie fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly,
Why
though,
are you bald?
straight white music critics are the bedrock of Charlie's music. Okay, we've
It's
been there
true.
since day one.
That's
all right.
true.
Anyways, so that was our episode. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good day. Click.